Hi, so what we're going to do in this video is some decimals, but addition, okay? So what we need to make sure when we're doing this is that when we set them up, we make sure that every place value section is above the correct place value section of the other numbers, okay? So hundreds above hundreds, tens above tens, units above units, decimal point above the decimal point, and units, tenths above tenths, and so on, okay? So I'll do a couple, then I'll come back and talk. I'll do a couple, come back and talk. I'll do a couple, come back and talk. Okay? So, first one, 5.2 plus 3.4, fairly straightforward. I set it up. I added the tens, 2 plus 4 gives me 6, got the decimal point, and then 5 plus 3 just gave me 8. Okay? And then example 2, 10.5 plus 7.8 involved a little bit of carrying, but that's fine. So I added the tens first of all, 5 plus 8 gave me 13, so I put the 3 there and I carried the 1. Decimal points all in the correct place, and then 7 plus that carried 1 gives me 8. And then the 1 in the tens goes there. So question 3, nothing much different other than you're dealing with hundreds, but as long as you set it up, it's going to be fine. So, did the hundreds first, 9 plus 2 is 11, so I put 1 there and I carried the 1 to the next column, which in that case is tenths. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus the carried 1 is 5, decimal point, and then 2 plus 4 is 6, 6.51. Now if you look at example 4, we've got two numbers, one of which is only got tenths after the decimal point, and one of which has got tenths in units. So when you set it up, you need to make sure that they are set up correctly. So you watch what I do, and you'll see what to do. So what I did is I wrote the 4.7 plus the 3.11, made sure the units were below the units, tenths were on top of each other, and then we had a 100th in 3.11. So what I did just to make sure I didn't make any mistakes is I put a 0 where the hundreds are in the 4.7, meaning that I don't make any mistakes, giving me 7.81. Example 5, much like example 3, there's nothing very much different about this, it's just that we're dealing with bigger numbers. Well, we're not really dealing with bigger numbers, we're dealing with more like hundreds, thousands and stuff, so they are quite detailed numbers. Okay? So there we go. Set it up. 7 plus 5 in the thousands gave me 12, so I put the 2 in the answer and then carried the 1. 8 plus 2 plus that carried 1 gives me 11. 9 plus 4 gave me 13, plus that carried 1 gives me 14. Decimal point, and then 2 plus 3 is 5, plus that 1 gives me 6, so it's 6.412. Example 6, similar in a sense to example 4, where we need to make sure everything's lined up properly, and then we can add them. So tens above tens, units above units, tenths above tenths, hundreds above hundreds, thousands above thousands. So we need to be really careful with this one because there's a few confusing bits with it. There we go. Firstly, you need to make sure the tens were in the tens part, and then at the end when I added it, I made sure that the missing space in the thousands was filled with a 0, and then when I added them up, I didn't make any mistakes. So 0 plus 5 is 5, 8 plus 8 gave me 16, which carried the 1, 7 plus 1 is 8, plus the carried 1 is 9, 0 plus 3 is 3 with that decimal point in between, and then the 1 gives me that 1. So we get 13.965. So that is just decimal addition.